than war around every major theater of the world you can think of. The only thing that's not officially open yet is, like, you could say the Asian theater, but I mean, we could
all right, guys, we decided to come back on. I don't even think anybody. Let me just tell people that I'm on. I'm back live again, because you know what I mean. Like, we just had the airstrikes, so in Iran. I'm getting the information now. I just want to share this. This might be a short live, but it literally just happened. So yeah, this is a good question too. Okay, so let me see if I can get anybody in here. But if I don't, I'm just gonna go into it. Like, my plan was to, you know what I'm saying, go to bed. And I'm listening to, so okay, I'm gonna actually link on to I'm gonna link on to Mario's space, who usually kind of gets into a lot of the news. Let me just go ahead and just kind of link on to his space. I hope it's working. Let's start listening here. Oh shit! I didn't share it. So, what's up, Dad?
U.S. forces there, right? They weren't worried about it. They were going nuts for a couple of days there. So that's what the thinking is. We have to make sure that the costs are high enough again to try to deter any of that further attacking. But again, only time will tell how that's going to work.
And there also
I agree with you, Michael. I agree with you, Michael, on one thing.
Greg can just go in here and say this. What will also come concurrent with this is a raise in the threat-con level globally for all U.S. bases in a retaliatory response.
I want to underline something. The Eisenhower was scheduled to be in the Eastern Med. It is now scheduled to be in the Persian Gulf. So you can take that 4 and dial it up to about 5.
A week ago it was going.
No. What I'm saying, no. What I'm saying is that means that's the baton. So what I'm saying, it's a cumulative effect. They have the baton, you have the Carney, you have the Mount Whitney, you have Ford, and then Ike is going.
Okay, I'm gonna go back. I am gonna go back to Mario and throw his space on again. Let me just kind of read everything that I've put out for you guys. I literally was just live. Thank you, Death, for coming through. I said I was going to do this live tomorrow. I'm still going to do one tomorrow morning, tomorrow. Yeah, maybe somewhere around 10:30 or something now. So I am going to still do a live tomorrow. But so since this just happened, I was like, turn it back on and come back on live again. And then my microphone was doing something earlier. But let me at least read some details of what's going on. The U.S. military has now entered war. Breaking Pentagon, U.S. military. U.S. military forces conducted self-defense strikes on 2 facilities in eastern Syria used by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard troops, you know what I'm saying, and affiliated groups. These precision self-defense strikes are a response to a series of ongoing and mostly unsuccessful attacks against U.S. personnel in Iraq and Syria by Iranian-backed militia groups. So Secretary Lord Austin has just, I guess he sent out this message here, whatever, today at President Biden's direction. U.S. military forces conducted self-defense strikes on 2 facilities in eastern Syria used by Iran's Islamic, some Revolutionary Guard group and affiliated groups. These positioned self-defense strikes are a response to a series of ongoing and mostly unsuccessful attacks against U.S. personnel in Iraq and Syria by Iranian-backed militia groups that began on October 17. As a result of these attacks, 1 U.S. citizen contractor died from a cardiac incident. Okay, a cardiac incident while sheltering in place. He probably had the jab. You know what I mean? Okay, sorry. 21 U.S. personnel suffered minor injuries, but all have since returned to duty. The president has no higher priority than the safety of the U.S. personnel, and he directed today's action to make clear that the United States will not tolerate such attacks and will defend itself its personnel and its interests. The United States does not seek conflict, has no interest in the desire to engage in further hostilities. But these Iranian-backed attacks against U.S. forces are unacceptable and must stop. Iran wants to hide its hand and deny its role in these attacks against our forces. We will not let them. If attacks by Iran proxies against U.S., if attacks by Iran proxies, right? That can mean a lot of different things, okay? That can mean a lot of different things here. Against U.S. forces continue, we will not hesitate to take further necessary measures to protect our people. These narrowly tailored strikes in self-defense were intended to solely protect and defend U.S. personnel in Iraq and Syria. They are separate and distinct from ongoing conflict between whatever, okay? Like whatever, all right, between Israel and Hamas, and do not constitute a shift in our approach to Israel-Hamas conflict. We continue to urge all state and non-state entities to take action that would escalate into broader regional conflict. Let me tell you something. This guy's Colin Powell, okay? They always get a blackie out there to do the lying and everything, okay? All right, let's backtrack a little bit. And yeah, I'm not going to be politically correct too. Okay, so we're going to backtrack a little bit. These people have been salivating for war with Iran since Trump was president, okay? And Trump didn't bomb them when they wanted him to. Why do we still have troops in Syria? I saw this coming. By the way, we just sent more troops in Syria a while ago, right? I think I talked about this on this channel. We sent troops to Syria. I said Syria, they're a sitting duck over there because everybody's having rapprochements and everything. The Middle Eastern countries, they're coming together under BRICS. Why do we have troops sitting in Syria? I didn't even know we had them in Iraq, right? And then now, of course, this happens. We sent about 2,000 troops over there about 3 months ago. Right? What are we doing? Why? For what? And now look what happens. And then they tell you it's Iran proxies. Well, is this another one of those proxies that you were funding for the last 5 years? And then this happened? That's where I'm at with this country. Yes, I am. With these kind of people. We had 4 years where we didn't hear these weird stories, right? And here we are today. Okay. So, all right, let me see. So, all right, let me see. Let me just hear this lady. And then
Jennifer, this sounds like huge news.
Sean, we can report based on senior military sources that U.S. warplanes have carried out airstrikes tonight inside Syria against Iranian proxy forces. We don't know the number of strikes. We were told earlier today to expect that perhaps F-15s and F-16s would be involved in the airstrikes, but we don't have confirmation yet about how many warplanes. But those strikes have been carried out. I'm told it is in response to the more than dozen strikes against U.S. bases. The message is a clear message designed to Iran and its proxy forces to stop carrying out these drone and rocket attacks against U.S. bases. But I'm told that the planes have safely left the area and that the airstrikes are complete at this time. They were targeting multiple locations inside Syria and Iran.
Let me tell you how this government is such a lie, this regime. They've been attacking those people over there. Yes, we have troops in Syria, like I keep saying. Iran, yes, you know what? Iran is behind us. Yeah, Iran, well, I didn't get any evidence to say that. Iran, Russia, and Syria first, has been constantly telling the United States, like, get your people out of here. They don't want them here. You know, this oil that we have to protect over there, right? Get your people out of here. This is our sovereign country. We don't want your base here. Just get them out of here. And Matt Gaetz tried to do a vote to remove people from our troops from Syria. And he only got 19 people to vote with him. Okay. I covered this a while ago again, right? And now look, because they're sitting ducks. Like I said, I didn't know we had them in Iraq. They're sitting ducks, right? And look, now you put them there as a target so that if something happens, they use you like they make you the suicide bomber, right? You know, we put them there just in case something happened. We need to, you know, they've been having issues over there, right? And now it's like, oh, something happened, so we can use that as a reason to go back and get Iran. These people, by any means necessary, they want to go to war with Iran. Let's go back to Mario's space and see if we have any updates. That's where I like to go for my updates, is Mario's space. So we're going to go back in.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But again, the point I would make just humbly in response is that, look, there have been attacks over the past several months of this year that the administration did not respond to. And obviously, I think we would all, we don't have our heads in the sand. Since October 7th, there has been a pretty big discussion on the U.S. responding for this now. And I think that clearly has been the case. And nobody in the media in the U.S. was talking about any of the other incidents that have happened earlier in 2023 or anything like that. So I do think I think October 7th definitely changed the conversation a little bit. But of course, to your point, the Pentagon, the National Security Council, White House, they don't decide to commit forces and to put American men and women in harm's way in F-15s and things like that, unless there is damn sure a very serious national security reason. So I think we agree. I think it's just, I think the political side, again, 10%, 20% might have had something to do with it.
I think let's just
in 10
wait
minutes.
until tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we can. The wait for tomorrow applies to everything all the time. But just Craig, you'll be streaming the. I think it's the White House that will be giving out a statement. Correct, Craig?
Yeah. So what's happening right now is the White House gave its official statement, but what you're getting now is you're getting background. So I'm sure Michael's familiar with this. People speaking on background, people familiar with the conversation. I'm sure Mike knows who those are. Those are the ones that are speaking to the reporters right now at the Pentagon, and then the reporters are going to give the readout from that on background. But of course, those are sources within the Pentagon, within the NSC that I'm sure, again, Michael knows who those people are.
So the reason I'm asking all these questions is because I'm trying to understand like the positions of the United States currently. Are there any ships in the area designed to evacuate around 600,000 U.S. citizens?
Yeah.
They're capable of doing 600,000 citizens.
Yeah. So let me explain how that actually works. So the way that evacuation would work is, first of all, the Mount Whitney in the Mediterranean is capable of evacuating 3,000 people, right? So that's number one. The Whitney
it's 600,000.
Okay, so if you would let me please finish. Whitney, the Whitney is in charge of anybody that needs to leave from Lebanon and anything else, right? The Ford's there for support. It has attack helicopters. It has Chinooks. It's able to evacuate, and it can land C-2 Greyhounds on and off the carrier and transport them to the Whitney. That carries 3,000. In relation to the other 600,000 that are obviously left, they are not going to leave via the air. They're going to leave via Saudi Arabia and Jeddah on the Red Sea. So it's a well-known fact. The United States Navy knows this kind of scale is unprecedented, yes, but the evacuation route is not by air, it's by sea. Everybody will leave via Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is, of course, a United States ally, and it will allow safe passage of U.S. citizens through its borders to Jeddah, which is on the Red Sea, just north of Mecca and Medina. It's got a very large harbor, and it can sustain that. So you're not going to airlift these citizens out. They're all just going to be allowed passage through Jordan, through Iraq, into Saudi Arabia via the Red Sea, and then we'll take care of them there. But once they're in Saudi Arabia, they're more or less safe, right? Saudi Arabia is essentially an absolute monarchy.
They have compounds. They have very, very well protected compounds for U.S. citizens to go in there. Yeah, they could be very safe.
All right, so we'll end there. So maybe this would be a little short live. I just wanted to bring that update to you. Breaking news here that we have sent airstrikes over to Iran. Iran proxies, whatever, so, and like Guy in Alaska asked the question, I missed it. I was scrolling too fast. She's like, why do we even have Congress anymore? And it's like, yeah, like nobody asked us nothing, whatever. We just do. Like, and it's not about like asking, it's not about asking. It's because we're all going to make a decision. It's just the point. Like, they tell us whatever. Who are these Iranian-backed proxies? Because the same Iranian-backed proxies, again, that y'all talk about, y'all fund them too when the time is right. I mean, can you imagine your country keeps telling you that ISIS is the enemy, and then you find out that they're funding ISIS too? Like, what is this place? What is this? God bless the people who voted for Joe Biden, even though I don't believe the election was real, even though I don't. But the fact that you thought you were doing something, the fact that you thought like the adults are coming back to the White House, really? This really feels like adults. It really feels, oh my God. Spent $200 on 3 bags of groceries. We're worried about sleeper cells, which is it's an actual worry, whether they're CIA backed or not. Our borders are wide open. We have ships, missiles, everything going to every country. We're in some sort of hot times with Iran. Our money, our dollars de-dollarizing by the second, and we're sending more money everywhere else, right? We're not producing anything here. No affordable energy for you, right? Oh, but we end races. Oh, we didn't. All right. Like, it's too much. Like, it's too much. I don't know how. It's weird that that this bombing isn't trending. Actually, it's just kind of weird. All right, y'all. All right, y'all. So I don't. Now my thing is not. Come on. Oh Jesus, I'm going too fast. You know what? While we're at it, let me just play this. Jordanian resolution. Israel is causing severe suffering in Gaza. Why don't you just hear this warmonger?
This emergency session, distinguished colleagues, we are gathered here in this hall today as a result of a resolution called Uniting for Peace. Sadly, this emergency session has nothing to do with peace. This is not a war with the Palestinians. Israel is at war with the genocidal jihadist Hamas terror organization. Only. It is the law-abiding democracy of Israel against modern-day Nazis. This resolution is a disgrace to your intelligence, a disgrace. Distinguished representatives, Hamas carried out atrocities, the likes of which we have not seen since the Holocaust.
Okay.
Israel is at the forefront of the war on radical jihadist terror. And if Israel doesn't succeed in obliterating Hamas's terror capabilities, the whole world will pay the price. This resolution is an insult to your intelligence, and the only place this resolution belongs is in the dustbin of history, the dustbin of history. Iran is known as the world's #1 state sponsor of terror, and for good reasons. It's completely natural that the foreign minister of this brutal regime should be the speaker following the resolution drafter. The country with a Nazi ideology of annihilating Israel publicly says, stands in solidarity with its proxy Hamas, which shares the same Nazi ideology and aims for our destruction. Days ago, he spoke with the leaders of Hamas and its twin terror group, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, praising them for the slaughter. And today he is here to fill your ears with poison.
But how come this wasn't a problem like 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years? We didn't hear this kind of talk. Like, I'm not trying, like, we didn't. I'm not taking up for Iran. I'm at all. Okay. But Iran was not on our minds 4 years ago, last year, even. By the way, Iran was on my mind last year. Last year, Iran was on my mind because I could read the room. I didn't know it would come like this, though. But I could read the room. I was like, okay, so this is going to be something here. Right? I didn't know it would come like this. Who are we fighting? Like, it's a lot of questions. Like, I don't know, man. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because you know what? Matter of fact, I'm glad I got after this. I'm gonna go because I did not expect to come back on here. Samira Khan, she's like, I was sleeping. Yeah, me too. I'm like, what was
on? Certainly the Biden.
This is Tucker Carlson, you know. Thank you. I am trying to keep everybody updated, though. You will hear a little bit of my bias. It's not a bias. It's just the reality. No matter of fact, we're gonna play this maybe like 7 minutes of this, and then and then we'll wrap it up, and then tomorrow we'll have the full packaged war live, okay, where I'll have more facts and deep diving into everything, and you'll see my frustration. I remember when they said Russia invaded Ukraine. 2 weeks before that happened, I said, no. Because they said 2 weeks before it happened, they said, Russia's going to invade Ukraine. And I said, no. What did y'all do to make him do that? I know how y'all work. Because when you know something for sure like that, yeah, in about a week or so, Russia's going to invade Ukraine. I'm like, how do you know that? How do you know that? And I was in this spot right here watching Fox News. This is when I used to watch Fox News. And I think I had just made a video or something, I don't know. And then because I was like editing, and then all of a sudden Russia invaded Ukraine or whatever. And then I had the video, and I was like, you gotta make a video right now. I made the video like on the fly. And here we are again, but this time I'm live. I was too nervous to go live back in the day. So let's listen to Tucker anyway. 7 minutes, a little bit of him and Colonel Douglas McGregor, who keeps it extraordinarily real.
Seem to be heading to war with Iran. Certainly the Biden administration is pushing us in that direction. What's new and interesting and ominous is that very few Republicans, the opposition party, are pushing back. Instead, some of the party's leaders are encouraging it. Here, for example, is Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina from last weekend on NBC.
You said this week that the only way to keep the war from escalating is to hold Iran accountable, part of what you're talking about now, and that it might mean bombing their oil refineries.
Yeah. Listen to this psycho.
Have you had any discussions with the Biden administration about this?
A bit. Here's my message. If Hezbollah, which is a proxy of Iran, launches a massive attack on Israel, I will consider that a threat to the state of Israel, existential in nature. I will introduce a resolution in the United States Senate to allow military action by the United States in conjunction with Israel to knock Iran out of the oil business. Iran, if you escalate this war, we're coming for you.
Are you effectively poised to declare war on Iran? That's very strong language.
I am poised to use military force to destroy the source of funding for Hamas and Hezbollah.
No, that's Lindsey Graham. A few others in the Republican Party will be that open about their intentions, but very few disagree with him. Certainly not in private. They agree. So what would war with Iran mean? Well, it's hard to know because virtually no one who's talking about it in public is operating from a deep interest in America's interest. Is this good for us or is it not? Former Colonel Douglas McGregor is the CEO of Our Country, Our Choice, and one of the first people we turn to for analysis of events like this because he is interested in what happens to the United States. He joins us now. Doug, thank you for coming on. Do you think that we are moving toward war with Iran?
Yes, I do. And it looks like the chosen destination is indeed Armageddon.
Don't take those words lightly when he says indeed Armageddon. Now, like I said in my last live, the man cannot destroy the world, but this is not going to be a pretty situation.
Doesn't seem to be any real appreciation for the implications for us and frankly, for Europe and the world, as well as the Middle East, of such action. Take for an example, just on the economic side, about 20% of the world's oil passes through the Straits of Hormuz every month. Probably 25% of liquefied natural gas. And you're talking about shutting down 2 to 3 million barrels a day of oil from Iran. This entire region is involved in the war. This is not an Iranian monopoly by any stretch of the imagination. But the point is that when we're looking at 10-year treasury yields up over 5%, and people are increasingly convinced that the Fed has lost control, the economic side of the house is catastrophe. Then when you look at the military side, you have to look at the arsenal of missiles that Iran possesses. And they can reach out 1,200 miles with great precision, very high explosive conventional warheads that would do enormous damage, destroying whole city blocks in places like Haifa, Tel Aviv, even Jerusalem, though I doubt they would attack Jerusalem. The bottom line is that we need to think this through, and everyone right now is emoting. There is no thinking anywhere, as far as I can tell. The only possible exception may be, amazingly enough, Mr. Erdogan in Turkey, who came out this morning and indicated he was willing to mediate the dispute between Israel and Hamas. Whether or not anyone in Washington or Israel is interested in talking, I don't know. But if we could sideline Turkey and keep Turkey out of the fight, that would ultimately help Israel enormously.
So what would happen to the United States if we followed Senator Graham's advice and just began bombing critical infrastructure in Iran? Like what would happen then?
Well, all of the bases that we have in Iraq and Syria, unfortunately, where we still have over 1,000 Americans, all of those would be targeted. And this time they would target them accurately, and this destruction would be wholesale. I would expect trouble here at home and in the United States because of the open border. Hezbollah has a very large operation in Mexico. There are no doubt many, many, many Hezbollah agents inside the United States. We can only begin to imagine the kind of trouble they could cause. The missile and space program in Iran is very, very advanced, as is their cyber warfare capability. All of these things would be brought to bear against us. But what's most important, I think, for Americans to understand is if we attack Iran on the basis of Hezbollah's alleged willingness to attack Israel if Israel invades Gaza, we will end up in a fight with Russia. Russia will not sit by quietly and watch Iran destroyed by the United States air and naval power in the region. And once Russia enters this, it becomes much more than just a local conflict, maybe more than just a regional war. We haven't thought this through. We need to do that. And I doubt seriously at that point that the Turks would be able to stay out. The Turks are Sunni Muslims. They are the de facto leaders of the Sunni Muslim world. They have the largest armed forces in the region. They are in close proximity to Israel. They could move forces south through Syria very
Now,
rapidly.
so this is under the projection of, like, you know, with if Israel goes into Gaza, and you know that could have how that escalates things, which by the way will happen. You know, but they just need more of our supplies and support before they go in. I'll get into that tomorrow, but that was more because, you know, this was a few days ago, right? So, but I just wanted you to get a projection of how war looks for America right now. We purged our military like through the jab. Like I'm watching videos of people who were in the Marines and stuff, and they're like, you know, they wanted to serve and everything, and then when the jab came out, they were gaslit and lied to, saying that they could have religious exemptions and stuff, and basically told to keep it stepping and leave. How many people like that? Like, we purged our military. We sent many weapons. I mean, ATACMS, everything to Ukraine. I've read reports that our arsenal we don't have the amount that we're supposed to have. I've been reading those reports maybe like 3 months ago, but I was hoping nothing would be coming over here, right? And I'm not saying anything's coming over here, but I'm just saying, what is this? And I know people would like to say, like, no, we still have stuff. We just don't tell what we have. Okay, yeah, but the American people are not in a place right now to be involved in such a thing. Like we have low morale. You should see this video I saw of this guy. I'm gonna play it tomorrow. When he was talking about the draft, he was like, yeah, right. Like, go ahead and think you're gonna draft me. Like, and you're not. I'm not saying that they're gonna do a draft. I'm not predicting anything. But this just happened tonight. And what do you think? It's gonna be like, all right, guys, we're gonna stop Joe Biden this week. By the way, Trump is trying to get our troops home. And he also exhibited he exhibited strength, right? Joe Biden is weak. So I don't know who's running this country. I don't. Whoever it is, they're all hungry for war. And there's these defense packages that have come through Raytheon, and I'm gonna have the information for you tomorrow. These defense packages that have come in now, like I said, our arsenal is at a low point right now, but they're ordering more for the next 2 years to replenish. What is the plan? You don't just order that stuff without knowing where you're going with it, you know? And this regime is not that organized, you know, like by the way, we've depleted our reserve oil, you know, like going off the top of my head. Okay. So whatever happens, like I said, just reach back, connect to your creator, pray, not out of some crazy fear, but for the peace and understanding that we're not going to know everything. We're not going to be able to predict everything, but we know that God will protect us, and we prepare. We get our supplies, we get our, we just prepare. We, don't drive around with your gas at quarter tank, because you never know, we run out of gas. We get, they say that we can't get the oil from other countries anymore, whatever. Who knows? So drive around with, half the full. Okay. Little things like that. Yeah. Just kind of have like a little bit of a plan, just so that you and your family are calm, cool, collective, because we can't stop anything that's coming, but that doesn't mean that our personal lives need to, be fully dismantled from whatever crazy decisions that they're making. When we know better, we do better, right? So I'll leave with that. I thank everybody who came back on with me again. So, the book Clash of the Civilizations of Russo-Ukrainian War was predicted. The conflict between Christianity and the Muslim world, war between China and Japan, is geopolitical. Now, I'll have to check that out. I will check that out. I mean, there's a whole, and that Ukraine and Israel situation is very much connected. But for me to explain that, I have to find a way to do it. But all right, this time I'm out for real. So let's just pray that it could just be a chill rest of the night. Thank you, everybody else who came back and came through. And we got this. I will see. 92 was awesome fun. It was. Oh my God. I think I was like in the 3rd grade. I'll see you guys tomorrow, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. We got this.